When nature calls in the wild outdoors, it's nice to have a convenient place to do your business. So for this project, I'm going to show you how to make a portable emergency supply kit that could save your tush during a natural disaster, or at least provide a little cushioning for it. Let's start this project with a 5-gallon bucket, some heavy-duty trash bags, a pool noodle, and some ultra-soft toilet paper. Look closely on the handle of the bucket, and you'll notice that all it takes to pop it out is a little tug on the side. And while we're here, it's a really good idea to bend the tip over with a pair of pliers because it'll make the handle a lot easier to connect again later on. Now lay the bucket down on one side and measure around 3 fingers from the connector port because we need to drill a small utility hole, and this spacing should be just about perfect. I'm using a 3/16 inch bit, and you can see the hole just barely goes through the top layer and doesn't actually penetrate the wall. That's important. Now try threading the open end of the handle through your toilet paper tube until the roll reaches the middle. Then lock the handle back on the bucket by simply pushing the end into the new connector port until it snaps in place. Just like that, we've got ourselves a built-in toilet roll holder for easy access when we need it. Now the best way to keep our bucket clean is to line it with heavy-duty garbage sacks, and I found some step can trash bags at a local supercenter which are a perfect fit. The ones I'm using are around 1.5 feet by 2.5 feet and will hold up to 8 gallons of waste, which will be more than enough to meet our needs. Push the garbage bag down into the bucket and secure it in place by lining the top ridge of the pail the same way you'd line a garbage can. The plastic liner should make a nice tight fit, so there won't be much chance it'll come off by accident. Okay, let's move on to making the seat. I got an orange pool noodle from the dollar store and cut a piece roughly 3 feet long. If you're careful, you should be able to cut a clean slit down one of the sides as well, and just like that, you've got a nice foam padding to cushion your backside, which should make your outdoor experience a little more comfortable. Alright, the business bucket is just about done. There's just one small modification left to make. You'll notice that when you try to unroll the toilet paper, it rubs on the side of the bucket and is very frustrating and difficult to use. So to solve this challenge, we need to elevate the handle, and I'm going to do that by drilling another small hole slightly offset from the center. If we use something like a small bungee cord to lift the handle, you can see it suspends the roll away from the bucket, which solves the problem. Now if you don't have a bungee cord, don't sweat it. You can always use an elastic, some string, or even a wire coat hanger instead. At this point, our bucket is completely finished and ready to do business. That's how simple and easy it is to make an emergency porta-potty. What's really cool is that everything can be stored inside the bucket to keep the whole system self-contained and odor-free. But rather than stopping here, let's take the idea to the next level with 2 more buckets. I found a 2-gallon pail with a lid and a 5-quart Big Mouth bucket at the hardware store, and check this out. They're waterproof, which means we can fill them up with useful supplies. I packed mine with stuff for hunting, camping, and survival situations, and if you pack them well, your buckets will hold an impressive amount of equipment. For example, I included a heavy-duty tarp with some paracord and bungee straps so we can make a shelter, and a bottle of rubbing alcohol that can be used for sanitization or makeshift camping fuel. I threw in a knife that's got a fork and a spoon built into it, and a flashlight so we'll be able to use our facilities in the dark. But that's not all. There's plenty of room for a small first aid kit and some lighters for getting a survival fire started. And just because you can, a pack of medical-grade nitrile gloves for when it's time to do the dirty work. It's truly amazing how much stuff will fit inside, and don't forget, the buckets themselves are useful as well. They're waterproof, which means you can store materials when you're out camping or hunting, and look what happens when you flip the white bucket over and set the wide mouth bucket on top. You've just created a makeshift sink. Okay, it's time to demonstrate how the bucket works, and for that, let's use a bit of hazelnut spread and some apple juice. If you look closely, you'll see how the plastic lining keeps the waste contained and is really simple to replace if it ever gets filled up. Heavy-duty bags have less chance of ripping or leaking, and most trash bags will be able to hold liquid waste as well, which will help keep the inside of your bucket clean. Now speaking of clean, remember to wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water, and when you're ready to dry them, there's a little hand towel down there as well. If you want to go the extra mile, you may want to include a small pack of cleansing wipes or a bottle of moisturizing hand sanitizer. Now you may have noticed earlier that in my bundle of supplies I included a small gardening trowel, and here's why. When you cover your deposit with a handful of leaves and sprinkle a layer of dirt over top, it forms an odor barrier that keeps your bucket from smelling bad and attracting flies. And if for some reason you're in a situation where you have to use the bucket indoors, there's still room for an air freshener in there as well. Alright, let's finish up by putting everything away. Start by tying off the garbage bag and sending it away for disposal. You might want to keep in mind that it's full of human compost and there are regulations on where it needs to be dumped. Go ahead and load your supplies back into the 2-gallon bucket, then snap on the watertight lid to keep it sealed. Everything goes together if you drop the Big Mouth pail in first, followed by the container of supplies, which you should find fit together perfectly. Now simply pop the handle off so you can remove the toilet paper and set it inside the bucket, and if you put it in the center, you'll still have a gap big enough to coil the pool noodle around and tuck it snugly inside. Amazingly, there's still a little room to spare. Finish up with a lid that makes an airtight seal, and you've got yourself a handy little bug-out bucket, full of supplies that could save your life in an emergency, and since it doesn't really have a shelf life, it'll stay water-resistant and self-contained indefinitely. Well, now you know how to use a few buckets and some trash sacks to make a surprisingly versatile business bucket. So the next time nature gives you a call in the wild outdoors, you'll have a much more convenient place to do business. Well, that's it for now. If you like this project, perhaps you like some of my others. Check them out at thekingofrandom.com. Hey guys, thanks for watching to the end. If you want to see another video, just click here to go back one or click here to go forward. I've also made some playlists for you. Random weekend projects, random experiments, life hacks, and mad science. If you can't click the screen, just look for these links in the description. I post new videos every 5 days, so please subscribe, and I'll see you around for the next one. Talk to you then.